Hello, once again, this is Sam with another Oklahoma podcast. Today, I just wanted to talk about the team building methods of Brent Venables and just kind of comparing that to maybe something, if you're familiar with watching college football, something that has been done and we've seen over the last few years. But really where it starts with Brent is in the trenches. And a lot of coaches, they go this way, but if you're the last few years of the Lincoln Riley era, watching some of the jazzercise trained offense and defensive lines, you could just really see us lose physicality in big games, and all of those playoff runs. Besides the 2017, we had some success. That we didn't have the talent on defense, but we had some success in the trenches, especially on the offensive line. 2018, we had still a good offensive line and everything. It was kind of a trickle down from there. But what we're seeing right now is hopefully a resurgence in that physicality, and I think we saw even with glimpses last year towards the end, whenever we were asking second and third string guys that were coming into the season in those positions to step up, and they started to move some people towards the end of the year. Obviously, it didn't translate to a lot of wins, but we started to see it, and if there was anything going on in the passing game, maybe it would have been different. But now you bring in a couple of key transfers, a couple of guys are fully healthy now. You bring in Fasusi and Foje that are just absolute monsters, and the way that they're talked about is they're not just monsters physically, but they process the game at a very high level, picking up blitzers, picking up different assignments that you wouldn't necessarily expect from freshmen. So that's very, very exciting that we're maybe starting to finally see some real strides there and real depth at the offensive line after the cupboard was so bare towards the end of Lincoln and kind of going into the first year or two of Brent. And then you go to the defensive line. I mean, just absolutely salty. You've got a few years now of recruits coming in, guys that just really were highly recruited, but also some transfer guys that have come in and added some depth. And I think we're going to start seeing less reliance on the portal whenever it comes to the inside of the line, just as we start stacking these recruits year after year. But you never know with attrition, and if a guy's available. It's a really, really exciting room, and I mean, just you look back at where we were at, and I mean, it's a humongous difference. I mean, we'd get so excited before about a 3-star recruit that was not anything, that nobody was really recruiting of the big guys, and it was like finally we got somebody on the inside. And, now just to have the depth that we have at that room, I mean, that's why you bring in Todd Bates. That's, one of the reasons why you bring in Brent, So you got the offensive line, the defensive line, really, really great on both spots. Then, obviously it was priority to maybe go get a playmaker at quarterback. And, I still respect and like Jackson for coming in, burning his red shirt and all that stuff. But, Mateer seems to be a guy that's going to elevate your program. And so you go and get that guy, total leader, face of the franchise kind of guy. And then one of the priorities at skill position, we didn't, there's no receiver that they went out and overpaid for in the portal. They kind of held on until Jay Knott became available, and then they struck. And so it's very interesting. You've got you got your lines figured out. You got a star quarterback, star running back. And it really is starting to really make me think that this is kind of the mold of Clemson, more than any of the OU builds that Brent was a part of. Clemson had really good offensive lines too great, and then absolutely disgusting defensive lines that made it to where their back seven in the on defense really just didn't have to play defense for more than 3 or 4 seconds on most plays, because their defensive line was just so disruptive. And so we're starting to see that a little bit on defense. And then on offense, like I said, with the star quarterback, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, that really they got away with a lot less skill talent at receiver. And I'm not saying that there's not skill talent at Oklahoma or at those Clemson teams, but they were just such good quarterbacks that they really could turn a guy that was a good player into a great player. And then always it seems like they've had Clemson has had some sort of star running back that just is a game breaker, and you just really like the similarities to me are just really apparent. It's really exciting. I don't know if that this Oklahoma team will reach necessarily, some of those national title winning Clemson teams. We all hope and we pray that that's the case. I think there's the potential. But you just start seeing that it really feels similar to some of those Clemson teams. And it's really, again, as an Oklahoma fan, we should be excited. We should be ready for the season, be ready to, hopefully go on a good run for number 8. We're not claiming the other 9 national titles that we could, or maybe 10, I forget. But here in Oklahoma, we only believe in national titles that matter. That's just a little diatribe for those that maybe are affected by that, but anyways, but yeah, so the chase for 8 definitely starts with I think, at least if this is going to be Brent's shot, if this isn't the year, you got to have a lot of momentum, going into next year. That's nothing new. Everyone knows that. So, it's exciting. We'll see where we're at, and I'll catch you guys on the next.